Hi guys, so my name is Renee Gill and I'm one of the four lovely ladies that we are leading this Bible study, and I'm telling you, it is so good. It is challenging though to sit down and make the time to reflect and really think about these questions and answer them wholeheartedly, and submerge yourself into this. I've got notes because I am not, this is really outside my comfort zone to be leading this and doing this video. So I want to encourage you, as I struggled this past week, just making the time management and sitting down and reflecting and making the time for this. But I know that it's Satan trying to get in the way of getting in the way of me getting unstuck. This Bible study is really going to be great in helping us get unstuck in the sins and the ways that are preventing us from living a full life, Christ-like life. So last week, I loved it. We went through Romans 8, talked about and discussed and thought about the war between obeying the Spirit and the desires of flesh. Oh, the selfish desires that we get on this earth here, how we need God. We discussed we need His grace, and how I loved the discussion of humility, to be fully occupied with God. Did that hit you guys? Just to sit there and be fully occupied with God. Obey out of love rather than a duty. That was another one that really hit me. So just, I'm hoping that you got from that, we can live in His grace, and then we're able to give that grace to everyone we encounter, and let go of the shame. So I'm loving sharing this with you guys. If you did not get a chance to share in our Padlet, there were some great answers to the questions, and it just helps. It gives me a sense of accountability too, to know that I have a goal of getting on there and at least sharing some of those answers and reflecting, and you can do it anonymously as well. And I love, last week we ended with, may His love shatter our sin and drive our lives. So I hope as you went through the projects at the end, you identified the sources of life and peace for you, and you were you transformed your views of weaknesses. I laughed as I went through Project 3 last week. It was titled Imagine, and it's the one where you could draw, and Jenny suggested that you could do stick figures, and I laughed. I just did happy and sad faces. But more importantly, as I was laughing at myself and my drawings of a happy and sad face, I more importantly recognized where I was stuck. So I hope that you can really set aside that time and reflect, and that you gathered those moments and really sat with those to figure out those areas of where you are truly stuck, and that we can get through this together and help get us unstuck. So this week we are focusing on MAD. That is the title of this week's study, and I will tell you, I will humble myself and tell you that this is one that I really related to. Oh man, did I relate to Jenny's story that she opened up this chapter, and I related to the first story that she shared. It's titled Not Fair. And have you ever just felt like it's just not fair and you've just gotten mad and anger? And I love how she discussed our perspective must shift for us to find freedom, and to allow us to remind us that people fail because they are sinners, just as we are sinners. So this week in James chapter 1, verse 19 through 27, it is such a good one. You've heard this one before, and we're going to relish in it this week. And it talks about the reminder here: quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. So do not merely listen to the word, do what it says. And so this week we are really going to focus on James, and really focusing on doing what it says, not just merely listening to what it says. There's a potential here for self-control, which I am constantly praying for more of. Self-control and love. And if we love God, that love cost us something, because we will have to give up something, right? We're going to be talking about what rights we feel like we are entitled to, and how we have to give up some of those things to completely, fully surrender to what God is asking us to do. let go of some of those most valuable things that we hold on to. And asking, do we love God? Do we truly love Him enough to give those rights up and trust in Him? And once we surrender in Him, guys, we will find the freedoms. So we're going to discuss how we find those freedoms and shift our perception of what our rights are or what we think we are entitled to. And then that helps us reflect on our anger and our God's plan for our anger. We're allowed to have anger. It's okay to have this anger. But how God wants us to have a plan for this anger and how we handle it and deal with it will allow us to also be healed and work towards reconciliation. So help us to not be stuck in that anger, right? So we're going to finish with Ephesians as well. Ephesians 4:26, do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. So we will end with recognizing that there's a time for anger, how to heal from that anger, and pick our fights wisely. Let's not get stuck in that anger. So I just encourage you this week as we go through James and Ephesians and really reflecting on this anger, and hope that you can get unstuck. And thank you guys for joining us on this path and this journey. So it's been, I pray that you really get unstuck in some of these things that truly are your things that you get stuck with. So thank you guys, and good luck this week.